Okay, Blue Black Delver, match 5. We can't possibly keep this hand. If it was an island, then maybe we could. But we have a swamp and we can't cast anything in our hand, so we're going to have to mulligan. Alright, this hand is okay. I don't think I want another Ponder. Can Ponder turn 1, Deprive turn 2. Oh, Chain Lightning. So these counterspells are going to be good versus burn, I think. Actual counterspell. Delver, Dismal, Evolving Wilds. Are these cards that we want? If we take the Delver, then we're not having instants or sorceries on top of our library for a while. Unless we crack this Wilds. Interesting decision. I'm going to go ahead and say that these cards are not good enough. I would rather have one of my bigger creatures. Preordain. Preordain is fine. Keldon Marauders. Okay. So we're going to be taking 5 damage from that, unfortunately. 1 when it enters the battlefield, 3 when it hits us, and 1 when it vanishes. 2 mana Lava Axe is very good. But now we have counterspells online for a long time, so we just need to find a Gurmag Angler to try to beat our opponent. Do I want to let this Needle Drop resolve? I don't think I do. It's only 1 damage, but it lets them draw a card as well. So it could just be more burn that they're drawing. So I think I'll get rid of it. Curse of the Pierced Heart. Okay, that puts a real clock on us, unfortunately. Yield to that. Alright, so I can play Evolving Wilds here, leave out with Deprive. I could also preordain and try to find a Gurmag Angler. Preordain, then Thought Scour, then Gurmag Angler, but I think I want to be a little bit more conservative than that. Lava Spike. Okay, I'm going to go find an island. Deprive this. Bounce an island back. Your opponent bolts us. Alright, this is the turn that I have to find an angler, I believe. And our opponent fire blasts us by sacrificing mountains. So we're at a very quick clock. Dismal Backwater buys us a turn. Okay, there's a scavenger. Is that good enough, or do I need to find an angler? Scavenger's going to take 7 turns to attack for the win. I don't think that's good enough. Combine with another creature, then maybe, but... Okay, there's the angler that I need. Dismal Backwater doesn't actually save me from anything here, so I'm going to play the angler now. I'll Thought Scour first. Okay, 1, 2. And if our opponent doesn't have anything this turn, then we get to gain a life with Dismal Backwater, and then deprive the next thing our opponent does. Gain another life with Dismal Backwater, and we might just race our opponent. We shall see. We can also pick up our Dismal Backwater with this deprive to just keep on buying turns against the curse. But if our opponent draws any burn, then we're dead. Alright, we'll lead off with Brainstorm. Another angler. I don't think the angler really matters. The only thing that matters here is if we were to draw another counterspell. So let's see. Is there a way that we can keep the brainstorm again, and find a counterspell, and have open a counterspell? So I could put back Wilds plus Island, Brainstorm, find another counterspell, find a counterspell, play my untapped island, and be good to go. So I guess I'll do that. And if I don't find a counterspell, I'll play Dismal Backwater. Okay. So there's another Dismal Backwater. I don't think it's going to end up mattering. Put back these islands that don't do anything. Gain a life. Attack. And I could play an angler here. I don't think it matters at all. I would rather keep Agony Warp up in case our opponent has some sort of hasty creature. I don't know. I think it's 50-50 either way. Our opponent can't remove a Gurmag Angler with anything because they would just target at our face instead and kill us. If we play the Angler, we can block any hasty creature, but maybe they have something that has haste and shadow. These aren't cards that the burn deck ever plays. I'm just speaking theoretically. What's better to leave up? See if our opponent drew burn, and they conceded. Wow, that was extremely close. So we got lucky. Our opponent drew pretty poorly the last couple turns, but we were able to get there, and then we get a sideboard. So against burn, we want 3 Dispel, for sure. 2 Stormbound Geist. We want as many creatures as possible so that we can kill our opponent before they kill us. And we have Doomblade as our removal spell of choice. We'll get rid of 3 Disfigure because they don't take down Keldon Marauders. 1 Diabolic Edict because the Doomblades are better. And 2 Agony Warp because the Doomblades are better. And see if we can take down another game. Opponent gets to be on the play again. We get to mulligan with the information in mind that our opponent is on burn, which is a lot better than having to keep or mulligan a hand without knowing what your opponent's on. So Dispel is good against them, Counter Magic is good against them. I'd much rather this is a 5-5 than a 3-3 so it doesn't die to a bolt. And our lands are pretty bad. Is this keepable? I think this hand is just barely keepable. We have a Preordain, or we have a Ponder rather, to help us find more lands if we need to. Alright. That's not a land. See what our opponent gets to resolve here. Keldon Marauders. Okay. If we find a swamp, we might just Doomblade that to gain 3 life. Mortuary Mire, okay. So we get to leave open Dispel, and then Thought Scour ourselves, or Mental Note ourselves, rather, if our opponent doesn't play something we want to Dispel. Alright, we're at 12 effectively, because this Keldon Marauders is going to ping us when it leaves the battlefield. And I'm willing to get rid of this Needle Drop. Same reasoning as last game. The 1 damage isn't that much, but then drawing a card is kind of a big deal, since their deck has so few lands and so many burn spells. We get Chain Lightninged. So we're at 8 on their next upkeep. So I could Thought Scour myself and play a Scavenger. I can't really do anything else of value, so I suppose that's what my plan is. And start putting a clock on our opponent. We're at 8 and they're going to have 3 cards in hand. So they only need 2 4 damage things or 3 3 damage things to kill me. If I can find a blue source for this Deprive, it'd be pretty great. Alright, Chain Lightning, down to 5. Fire Blast, all the way down to 1. Alright, our opponent has no cards in hand. And we drew Counterspell. Man, if we had a blue source, it would be so incredible right now. So should we lead off with Preordain, or sorry, should we lead off with Ponder or a Mental Note? I guess Ponder? Dismal Backwater, Ponder, Ponder. That seems fine. We just need lands, and this gains us a life and lets us start casting our counterspells. Most important part is that it lets us get our counterspells up. Now we only have to fade 1 draw step from our opponent. Alright, perfect. So I'm not going to be playing any of our blue spells until I draw a 3rd blue. There's just no sense of tapping out of counterspell magic. Keldon Marauders, okay. So we could Deprive, picking up Dismal Backwater, but then we don't have untapped blue sources, so I think we have to start with Counterspell here. Attack. Still not going to play any of these Ponders yet, because if I whiff on finding a blue source, it's just too bad for me. Okay. Discard one of these. Like I said, I'm just not going to tap out of this deprive. Our opponent's probably going to have 2 burn spells in hand to just be able to burn us at some point, because we're not drawing lands or more counter magic. But I think this is still our best chance. Alright, there's the lava spike. So we counter this, and then our opponent presumably burns us in response. Yep, there's the Searing Blaze, and we die. Okay, so game 3 will decide it all. So I think I'm going to make one more change. I'm going to put in a null over Gush, just in case they still have Curse of the Pure Start in their deck. Gush is pretty slow most of the time, and this could actually be a relevant counterspell. We would like to be on the play against Burn, thank you very much. This hand is fine. It's not exciting, but it's fine. We got a card draw to help us find creatures, and we have a Deprive relatively soon. Lead off with our Dismal Backwater. Our opponent cycles a Forgotten Cave. Interesting. So what do we want to do? I think we want to start off with Brainstorm, because at the worst case scenario we can shuffle away 2 cards with this Evolving Wilds. Ooh, I actually want most of these cards. I want to play Island Delver of Secrets this turn. I don't want to have to draw this Doomblade, so I'll go Doomblade, Brainstorm. Set up our Delver to flip, and still have a land in hand for next turn. See if our opponent has Searing Blaze for this Delver. Lava Spike us. Needle Drop us. And pass the turn. If we get to flip this Delver, we're going to be doing pretty well. Yes, we want to reveal our Brainstorm. So now if we really need a Doomblade for some reason, which we won't, we can choose not to crack this Evolving Wilds. And we have Deprive. So I'm going to let this one resolve. I care more about Searing Blaze. Our opponent could go Mountain Searing Blaze and give us damage while also taking out our 3/2. Relic of Progenitus. I don't particularly care about that either. I can just ride this 3/2 to victory. So I'm going to let him have that. Plays a Forgotten Cave. So that indicates they need more mana, either for cracking this relic and keeping on going, or they want to play like 2/2 drops in one turn or something. So I think I'm going to Brainstorm and then crack the Evolving Wilds. So I don't want Doomblade. I'd rather just counter Keldon Marauders. These Dispels are good, the Deprive is good. I guess I'll get rid of one Ponder. Oh, I should have waited until after. No, I shouldn't have waited till after. For some reason I was thinking the Relic was activating its second ability, but if it's only getting rid of one card, it doesn't matter when I do that. Thought Scour, okay. Go ahead and attack for 3. And we'll leave open Dispel plus Deprive. And if we don't need to use all of that, then we have Thought Scour at the ready. Chain Lightning us. Okay, I think that's fine. I think I'm more interested in countering, like I said before, repeatable sources of damage like creatures, Curse the Pure Start, and also, well, at this point, since I can get rid of that with Dispel instead of Deprive, I'm going to do it. But also, if they can get rid of our 3/2, we want to save counter magic for that. And at this point, I am going to Thought Scour because I get to leave open Dispel while I do it, if they just pass the turn here. This will probably force them to crack the Relic on their end step to avoid us being able to untap with 6 cards in our graveyard. Yep. So they got us there, which means this Angler is going to take a lot longer to come out. I'm not going to Ponder, Preordain. I'm going to leave open Dispel plus Deprive again. We're in a very good position here. Our opponent's going to 4 cards in hand. If they're all Bolt equivalents, they have us dead. But us just having counter magic for things like this puts us in a much better position. Rift Bolt is exiled. Gotta keep that in mind. Crack this for a blue. Attack first. And I'm not going to play anything because I can leave open Deprive plus Counterspell. See whether this Rift Bolt takes down the 3-2 or my face. I'm going to be countering it either way, I believe. There's no reason to fool around at this point. Our opponent only is going to have 2 more cards in hand after they draw this turn. Keldon Marauders is the only other thing we really care about. What did I just do? Oh, he exiled 2 Rift Bolts. Yeah, so I'm not going to counter the second one. I'm okay going down to 8. Deprive that. It is a little bit awkward if our opponent kills our 3-2 now, since we'll have to rely on our Angler, but I don't really mind relying on the Angler. Our opponent's got 1 card in hand, we kill them in 3 attacks. They can't even double Fire Blast us right now because they would need another mountain to do that. We'll start off with a Ponder. Don't really want any of these cards. I could keep one of them. And then, yeah, I guess I'll keep the Dismal Backwater. And then I can preordain the other 2 off of my library. Stormbound Geist is good, but I'm not going to need it. I'd rather just have more counter magic. Alright, there's that. Gain a life. Play the Angler. So we have lethal next turn. Our opponent has to find a way to do 9 damage with 2 cards, which I don't think they can do. Keldon Marauders. Okay, so he's got a chump blocker for the Angler. That's something. Except we actually have a Doomblade for that. So we can win right now. Go to 7. And that should be the match. Alright, excellent. We went 4-1 overall with Blue-Black Delver. We got a pack and 120 play points. So we came out reasonably ahead. Overall, I like the list, though I am confused by the Singleton Gush and the fact that our removal is a little bit all over the place between 2 Agony Warp, 1 Diabolic Edict, and 1 Doomblade, and 3 Disfigured. It's kind of varied, and I'm not sure why. As I said at the beginning, we do have card selection and ways to shuffle our library and look around and try to draw exactly what we want to draw, but I don't know that we have that much card selection that it's correct to have our removal be so inconsistent in what it's good against. It is nice being able to play a graveyard deck that doesn't just automatically fold to things like Nihil Spellbomb and Relic of Progenitus. As you see, we mill ourselves and fill up our graveyard too quickly for Relic activating once per turn to really matter. In most situations, it'll slow us down, but we can still eventually cast our Delve creatures. And if we fill up our graveyard a lot, it forces them to crack the Relic, and then we can just mill ourselves some more and be able to play our Delve spells for value once again with the Relic off the table. I hope you guys enjoyed the deck and watching the videos as much as I enjoyed playing the games. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can see the next Pennywise Pauper and all the other great stuff that we put out. If you want to contact me, you can leave a comment below or tweet to me at JakeStylesMTG. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.